Craig Allen is in the house from All-Star Wine. And what do we got? We got Siena wine. Craig.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to drop off
like
a little Ferrari Carano makes a wine called Siena, so I figured what a perfect thing to stop by here to drop off on a day like today.
This is Team Siena this morning.
Yes.
Lizzie Hunter, Siena crowd.
Hunter, Siena.
Craig, perhaps the biggest Siena supporter we have in the capital region.
Well, I like to sit down on the side and, kind of coax the other team a little bit. I used to do that to Jimmy.
Craig works, you know what? It's funny. When you shoot Siena basketball games, you shoot from both ends of the floor, whichever basket Siena is shooting at. So the first half, I'm usually seated on the baseline where Craig has his courtside seats. Craig works the refs as hard at that end as Jimmy does the other end. So the refs are getting it both ways every time they come down the floor.
There's a good group of us on the side there. Yeah. I think sometimes they shake their head and they rather listen to Jimmy than us. That's for sure. Right. They can't throw us out. Well, they can throw Jimmy out a lot easier.
Hey, Craig, you're not far from the broadcast table either.
Oh, you can probably hear us from down there.
Because where we're at down there for the visiting radio, we're at the far end, and I think your seats are not far from there. So I see you in action. It's a beautiful. You've never gotten thrown out yet.
No, we've been, asked to be quiet before, but we keep it clean, clean. That kind of a thing.
But after a while, one of them will just get irritated with you.
Yeah, but by now, over the years, they kind of all know us, and they come up and shake hands with us beforehand and talk.
All in good fun.
Yeah, and good fun. They know. We get on them a little bit on some things, but they turn around, they give it right back to us, which is pretty good now. So I think we're beyond the get kicked out, except for if it's a new guy, they might not understand our humor.
Yeah, well, listen, it is what it is. You gotta, if you have courtside seats, you're not going to be just sitting there quiet.
No, you shouldn't.
Courtside seats.
That's the point of the home court advantage.
Yeah, I think that's why they put us down there.
Lizzie Hunter, you're back again. Good to see you.
Yes, great to be
How
back.
was your weekend?
It was good.
Yeah.
Long weekend in Saratoga.
You were at the track.
I was at the track. Definitely at the track.
So would you like to see the track expand?
I don't know.
We hit on that a little bit at the top of our show this morning.
So, yes and no. I mean, today I was feeling pretty sad that it's over, but I'm also feeling pretty tired after a long 40 days. Yeah. So, I don't know if I could handle it much longer.
You're a big Saratoga track. You like the track a lot?
Yeah. This weekend, I don't know if you guys saw online, got to run through the starting gate. It was a pretty big deal.
Lizzie Hunter gives everybody Instagram envy, I think we call it. Like, she is out at some of the best parties in Saratoga. She gets behind-the-scenes access at Saratoga Racecourse. It's not bad.
I think that was pretty much a highlight of my life, to run through the gate. So I don't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of a big deal, but,
Well, I think they will expand at some point, so you'll get up there a few more times.
Yeah.
Coaches vs. Cancer basketball event, September 19th at the Albany Capitol Center. And where do we stand right now, Howard? From last week, did you get a few more phone calls? Some push come from the being on the 104.5 The Team?
I'd say it all probably came
here,
of course. But, we do, it's funny timing. And we always say right after Labor Day, people finally realize, like, oh my gosh, it's coming up so soon. And today I actually got 3 different sets of people buying tickets by the time I got to work. So it really is as soon as, kids are back to school, people are looking in September calendars, so...
Well, before Jimmy gets in here, let's go through it because you got one star guest. I know that.
Oh yes, we have Mike Bray coming in from Notre Dame. We're very, very excited. He actually just hosted a Coaches vs. Cancer event for Notre Dame, which pushed him over the $3 million mark that he's raised for Coaches vs. Cancer.
Now, hang on a second, Rodger. Lizzie Hunter comes in graciously last week. Yeah. You attack her with "Get us Mike Bray."
Yeah.
Lizzie delivers.
I know.
Gets you Mike Bray. And there's yet to be a thank you.
Thank you, Lizzie. Hi, Coach.
There he is.
Hi, Coach. Good to see you, Coach. Coach Patsos has just entered the studio.
Roger's saying thank you to everyone.
That's all I do. I'm just handing out thank yous.
This is good.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, Lizzie.
You're
Right down. How's the dog?
Feeling better.
And look what we got, Coach.
Yes.
Siena wine.
My friend came in last weekend. He's been all over the world, and All-Star Liquors is now his favorite liquor store. He was taking pictures, the big guy.
Oh, yeah.
They love it.
All right, so finish out, Lizzie.
Coach Bray.
You got Coach Bray, and a few others that will be honored on that night as well.
Yep, we have Marianne Donnelly. She will be getting the Fighting Spirit Award. She's fighting stage 4 ovarian cancer right now. And then we're also honoring Doug McLean from Albany Capitol Center with the Champion of Hope Award.
Cool. And the best way right now to get your tickets?
Visit our website, which is www.cvcbasketballalbany.org.
Okay, cool. And you did score us Mike Bray.
Oh, yeah, he'll be calling in on Thursday.
Thursday
at 11:30.
Appointment radio, what time is that?
11:30.
11:30.
Yep.
Perfect. Doesn't get any better. Coach Patsos, you want to grab the microphone? Back from Montreal.
Yes. By the way, Mike Bray, I used to work camp with him.
Good
One of
guy.
the nicest, quality, normal guy. Was Jack Bruin's best friend. He was at DeMatha High School running camp. I was like in his league. Then he went to Duke as the assistant. Then Delaware head coach, Notre Dame. Grounded, normal guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a normal guy.
Well,
CBS, a bunch of CBS college basketball reporters did a poll of 100 different college basketball coaches, like who is the most stand-up guy out on the recruiting trail. Beeline was one, but Bray was two.
Yeah, Bray, great, just a great, normal, but a really good coach, great offensive coach. And he's has a great perspective on it. You know, he doesn't take himself too seriously. He still has a beach down in Delaware. Beach house, like my friend runs restaurants. Bray's just comes in by himself, read the paper, tips big, things like that. But he's a real giver. He's a real giver, which in some of our businesses is a lost art.
so you go to Montreal, win 3 games.
No, 1-2. We won 2-1. We lost to Carleton,
Okay.
who was the national champs. Carleton beat Alabama and Vanderbilt. It was a great trip for the kids.
You won 2 out of 3.
Won 2 out of 3, and it was a real learning experience. You know, a couple guys I thought maybe would be buried at the bench stepped up and played well. A couple guys might have slipped the other way. In other words, you can practice all you want, but 3 games. I would recommend anybody who hasn't been to Montreal. What a great city, historical. It was easy to get around. It has a real foreign feel. But on the other hand, the basketball was excellent. Those teams are really well prepared. McGill beat Wichita State last year. Concordia is a real team, and then there's Carleton, who's like that's where everybody goes to test themselves, and they're very normal. In other words, they're well prepared. They're scouting you. They're running. They're calling timeouts. Sometimes you go overseas and you play kind of ragtag group of teams. These guys it's like playing it was like playing 3 MAC games is what it was like.
So what did you learn? What anything surprise you that? Wow, we're going to be pretty good because of this.
Well, I don't know if we're going to be good or not, but I mean, we're going to try hard. But we have guys that really want to play, and we executed a little better than I thought we would. Kadeem Smitten was really a defensive force and played a lot of minutes. And Herder won us the last game. Tom Herder is just like I thought, is coming along. He's kind of a utility guy. He's going to play more 4 than 3, but he's got that thing that he doesn't really get rattled. And sometimes whether it's me or Nico, we can be off the, EKG emotionally can be off the charts. Herder's he's super steady. So Jordan Horn was probably the best player for 3 days because Nico played the first game. Then he got a thigh bruise, and Hammer said no playing the next 2, so I don't play a doctor. So Roman Penn at the 1, Jordan Horn at the 2, Nico at the 3. Evan Fisher was excellent, and then Prince Aduro at the 5. Then you got Kadeem and Tom Herder. That's what it ended up.
Is that how you see your starting 5?
Well, that's what just happened up there. That's what happened because Shivers is going to find out on Friday whether he can play or not. I'm sorry. Shivers is going to find out whether surgery is a 1 month, 2 month, or 6 month thing from Doc Alfred. Now that the track's over, we get our doctor back.
I was going to say, yeah.
Right.
Get him away from Saratoga.
I said, Doc, it's an emergency. He said, you know what's an emergency? What? The photo finish I'm waiting on. I said, okay, get back to me.
He's so focused up there, too, Alfred. I see him in the window.
He's a great guy.
He's the best.
But seriously, we waited. You got to look at it. Shivers wanted to stay with the team. He didn't want to rush back to get an MRI. And so Doc said, just wait. He looked at him Friday. Now they'll find out this week what type of surgery they do. But that being said, and then Khalil Richards played really well. Khalil Richards helped us win the McGill game. It's going to be a by committee type thing, but Nico's clearly going to be our best player. But this guy, Jordan Horn, he's tough. He's a good player.
Jimmy, is it easier to coach a team that, and I'm going to word it a way you may not agree with, but follow me here. Is it easier to coach a team like this year's squad that is going in with not super high expectations as compared to last year where you're picked second to win the conference? And I know you cautioned everybody, take a deep breath. It may take us a little while to get there. You did eventually. You had 4 1,000-point scores. The expectations were through the roof. Is it easier to coach a team that may not be as talented right off the bat, but doesn't face the same kind of pressure?
That's a really good question. That's a very good question. Look, I was out at Northwestern's practice because Chris Collins is a friend there in the Under Armour family. His father was there. It's very difficult in the NBA now to coach veterans, especially guys that have been around. He was alluding to that. We're talking about how Northwestern made a big run because they got young guys. In other words, he was talking to the players, don't think you know it all.
Yep.
But then he turns to me and Chris Collins and says, it's really difficult to coach veterans in any situation. We had 4 veterans. They were great guys. They're all doing well. Javion and I were texting. He's doing great, Brett. Levon just got a report from his coach, and then Marquise has his first game coming up. I've been texting but talking with all of them. But they'd heard all my stories. They've heard all the drills. They've done all the things. They knew that the MAC was what mattered. I'm not saying they didn't try. They did a really good job coming back from a really difficult schedule. But at the end of the day, they knew that it was about the MAC, and then it was about the MAC tournament. And I can sit there. I'm not going to argue with them. New guys, I mean, I didn't have to say, hey, listen in the huddle once up in Montreal. They're right there listening. Right. They want to get back. I think it's a great question.
So these guys are fighting for minutes.
Yeah, and they know that they don't know everything, and they know that they're just trying to establish themselves as players. And Nico's, wants to start and be a leader. And Roman Penn sat and watched last year. Roman Penn was really good to have him in December because he knows how good the league is. Like, he's telling the other freshmen, you're gonna see how tough this thing is, this mid-major basketball. Prince wants to learn. But yes, that's a good question. In other words, it's a little different type of coaching, but they're all way into it. The engagement was there a little bit more, and it's not the whole hum. I've heard this before. And the other guys were really good. Hey, for them to fight back after what happened last year, our start was one of the best performances I've ever seen in 27 years of coaching, because that thing could have gone south.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I want to see us learn from that, because we have another tough schedule this year. But we have to do better. I didn't do a good enough job coaching last year. I probably should have done some things different in November and December, but I broke my own rule. Never trust the players.
When we come back, we'll talk about the schedule a little bit more with.
We got to have Craig Allen on, our big sponsor.
We had him on once. You missed him, and he's going to come on again.
All right.
In fact, do we have any endorsements in this next little segment? We can let Craig just.
You know what? That's we
can move.
We ran
around.
a spot. Yeah, we ran a spot while Craig was in the studio. We'll figure something out here.
We'll figure something out because we got wine here.
Craig's
too.
Great. When I'm coaching the games right at the beginning, I look up. When I know he comes in, I'm like, I know we have a chance to win, because the players know that he has a lot of impact on our program.
We notice him. We see him. We've seen him in action. We'll come back with more at Siena men's basketball coach Jimmy Patsos and company next on Big Board Sports 104.5 at Team ESPN Radio.